Hey guys.
Because they went to their
I'm in a
backlines and
helicopter.
captured. Oh no. Oh, should I spawn with you? I'm gonna spawn with
Yes.
you.
Oh
I'm
no,
spawning.
no, no. Oh
Spawning and
no.
I'm jumping, baby.
Whoa, I'm not in control! What's happening?
I jumped out.
I have no control over this. What is going on?
Why can't I jump? There we go.
Oh my god.
There is a form of multimedia entertainment beyond that which is good. These games are as vast in number as they are terrible. They dwell in the dark recesses of history, unearthed from the pits of the bargain bin. These are the games of horror. This is Garbage Game Night.
Welcome to Garbage Game Night, a podcast about games that flopped spectacularly, or to make a reference that will surely never age, they went full Morbius. Tonight, we're looking into the future, the year 2042, where the climate crisis has caused resource wars, but also you seem really upbeat about how fun war is. It's Battlefield 2042, and I'm going to need some help to dig into this one. So let's see. First, Specialist Operator Frank, how are you tonight?
I'm ready and to report for duty, and I'm totally not
you
eating
got
right
like
now.
a croissant in your mouth? Okay. Let's see. We got Specialist Tom, how you doing?
Oh, I'm doing swimmingly. Setting this up was a dream.
Yeah, we troubleshooted for about 50 minutes to update your video card into Link, Steam, and Origin, and we have an EA Pass system going to get our 10 trial hours, which are on a countdown timer.
And it still feels
great.
largely unsuccessful.
I don't think he's made it past the tutorial yet, but that's okay. And Specialist Operator Bob, how you doing?
Doing fantastic.
Excellent. Glad to have you back.
Glad to be back.
Before we get into the game we're playing this evening on GGN, let's talk about the last game we played, which was Umbrella Corps. Bob, you weren't here with us. Are you familiar with what an Umbrella Corps is?
I'm assuming from Resident Evil.
Yeah. But this is the Umbrella Corps that was actually created to take care of the bioterrorism threats after Umbrella was dissolved. And Capcom decided that their franchise Resident Evil would make a good lead into the esports category. So it is Resident Evil as an esport, and that was tough. It was tough to get through a 7-year-old game that was so successful he couldn't find one more person online to play with. Regardless, yes. I think the episode came out pretty well. You can find a YouTube video of it. Well, if you want to check out what that is, what an esport Resident Evil is. Before we get into the game, let's do our 1 minute in gaming news, where I'm going to hit you with everything that's been going on since the last podcast. Then if you guys have anything to add, feel free. But hold on, let me get my 1 minute on the clock here, see if I can run through it. All right, Street Fighter 6 is on the way, and a look at the roster and potentially clothing additions to Cammy has gamers reacting in a very, very mature and predictable way. Steward of Humanity Elon Musk ended up on video game news again by getting dragged by parody site Hard Drive. Elon shared one of their articles with their name cropped off. Hard Drive offered him a horse to give them credit, alluding to the story that he once offered a flight attendant horse in exchange for an erotic massage. Elon then claimed it wasn't even a good meme that he was sharing to begin with. Diablo Immortal is out, and people are upset due to the complex and predatory loot box mechanics, and some reports say it could cost up to $110,000 to fully upgrade a character in that game.
Oh my god.
And in some fun niche news, the realistic air tank and sea battle game War Thunder is worrying because a Chinese player leaked classified technical documents onto their forums about the high-velocity, non-explosive 125mm sabot round fired by the Chinese tank Type 96. War Thunder was apparently misrepresenting what kind of round the tank used, so this person revealed confidential military information to get it corrected. Gaijin Entertainment removed the post and once again pleaded with its community not to commit treason on their forums, because this is actually the third time this has happened that someone has revealed classified information to correct information in the game. Yeah, I ran over a minute there, damn. But yeah, that's the gaming news.
They should just have a thing like right in the beginning where it's like, yes, some of these things are wrong. It is for a reason. Do not correct it.
Well, it goes further than that, apparently, for this specific one. Like, they responded that, we know that's the wrong information, just we had copied and pasted it from a different tank, and we hadn't updated the thing yet. That was just it was a copy-paste error on our side, our bad. Please don't post military documents in our forums. All right, but we're here to talk about, this is a day that I didn't want to come, but the writing was on the wall, and really since the launch, but now I'm just coming to terms and admitting it. Tonight we're playing Battlefield 2042, the latest in the Battlefield series that ostensibly is the main competitor to Juggernaut Call of Duty, but it has been a minute since they've been on top. It looked like that could change with the late 2021 release Battlefield 2042. From their marketing, Battlefield 2042 is a first-person shooter that marks the return to the iconic all-out war of the franchise. Adapt and overcome in a near-future world transformed by disorder. Squad up and bring a cutting-edge arsenal into dynamically changing battlegrounds supporting 128 players, unprecedented scale, and epic destruction. And we're watching the reveal trailer here, which really is a series of snippets in different environments showing off the settings, like the environments of the game and kind of the chaotic battles. Here, I'll turn the sound up on that. You've invited me to play, Frank. I'm going to decline that invite. I'm not interested in playing with you.
Wow. Wait.
When I say yes, it brings me to Origin and shows me a YouTube video.
I hate this game.
I hate Origin so much.
Yeah, Origin.
Yeah.
All right,
Wow.
so we're watching through the reveal trailer here. If you guys haven't seen it before, it's intense. You got all kinds of
That's the guy from
futuristic
Overwatch.
tanks. See some environmental changes with this huge wall of a ship crashing
I did have a
down,
building fall on me and kill me.
killing like 20 soldiers at once. Change scenes into
It was a very small building, but it did collapse up. And it was like instant. You know, usually like you watch yourself bleed out to death.
Mhm.
It was like, no. It just goes aerial view. It's like, no, you're dead.
Nah, bro, you smushed.
It's like, how do you even get out of that?
They're showing this is about the fourth or fifth map they've shown off now. There's oh my god, there's like 200 people on the screen at once, and there's a rocket that's gonna launch in the background.
Pretty epic.
Chaos. Car driving through a bunch of guys. I mean, is there even a battle going on? It's unclear. Oh, we're only halfway through this trailer. I forgot how long this trailer was.
Okay, this is a bit much.
So while we're watching this trailer here of helicopters colliding and skidding off the sides of buildings and a helicopter about to mow down 100 people, have you guys experienced with Battlefield franchise? Have you guys played many of them, all of them, any of them?
Just one.
Just one? Which one's that?
Battlefield 3. And I have all of the achievements on Xbox 360.
Wowee, Battlefield 3.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and that's
100%.
so Battlefield 3. Yeah, that was the one on. Is that one on 360?
Yeah.
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 And PC and PS3.
Yeah.
3, I guess?
Yeah, Battlefield 3 was PS3, Xbox 360 Windows.
I played one also, but it was more recent, and it was on my the Xbox One.
Yeah.
But it felt very like old school. Do you know what that would have been?
Well, they've done two games recently. One that was World War One, and one that was World War Two.
I don't know
Were
if I
they
even
Nazis
know
or
enough.
not?
Yeah. Were there Nazis or were they just like Eagles?
I think they might have been Nazis. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably
Did you not
the
see
most.
it?
That's the
Or
most
maybe I
recent
did
one.
both of them. I think I played both of them, but both briefly. That's the answer.
Yeah.
I did both of them, but not for very long.
Well, I live with Frank, so I played a lot of Battlefield 3 as well, and that's really
Yeah.
the only one. I didn't 100% it like he did, but played quite a bit of it.
All right. And we've probably all heard about this game Floundering, but I guess no one's played it before I forced you guys to play it, or had anyone intended to play it.
No.
If it wasn't for this, I would have passed on it, and after playing it, I'll probably still pass on it in the future.
And if I wanted to, I
Gracefully
would
passed
have
up.
given up in the absolutely hellacious process it was to get it running.
Yeah. If you don't want to pay the full price, then you got to use the EA Pass system, and that's where we're at this evening. So, all right. So the plan really is for us just to play some Battlefield 2042. I'll give some info between the games, but we're going to try some different modes. But yeah, as we go into our first game, I know we've all kind of booted it up at some point, made it to the main menu at least. Before we even drop into the battlefield, any thoughts that you guys want to get out of the way?
Right. The thing about this game is, it is interesting that in the beginning they really give you a lot of options, And I was like, that's kind of neat, They let you kind of color things and stuff. And I was like, all right. And then you get into the tutorial, and you're like, I think I'm like, I don't think this is a real match. I think these are bots, And then you kill a guy, that was a bot. And it takes a while. It's not a quick tutorial. It's a very big map. If you don't catch a vehicle in the beginning, you got to run for a while. It was quite annoying.
You're going to be sprinting for a while.
Yeah.
I honestly had forgotten that they gave you a tutorial.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is like a full the normal length of a Battlefield game that they have you do as a tutorial. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, you go into the thing and like a character just walks up and starts talking. You're like, what? You're like, what's going on? You're like, oh, that's the menu. Then you can pick, you know? You can choose your game mode. You can go solo co-op, and then you got if you're a multiplayer, you got the 3 modes. And I think I was automatically on Conquest, or maybe it did have me choose, and I just chose Conquest because it was in the middle. And I was like, that's pretty like normal, like what I would play before, I believe, Battlefield 3.
Yeah, when you get into the menus, the UI to me is still kind of confusing. You're given like several modes to choose from, all with, very vague names like All Out War, Breakthrough, Conquest, Hazard Zone, Portal. It's a little overwhelming at first, but it gets worse when you start playing the game. So yeah, let's jump into a game here, see if we can friend up and play. Oh, look at you guys playing your trial version. Not me. I got the full game, baby.
You're dumb.
Oh, man, I'm so
Hey,
jealous.
That feels like a pretty big flex, like monetarily. To be like,
I can buy this $60 piece of shit.
This.
Yeah.
So I've played a lot of different Battlefields, starting with the first one, actually, 1942. I don't know, thinking about like different games that I've played, it's up there. It's probably like in my top 10 of like most hours put into a game. 1942 was like, I felt a big jump forward in online multiplayer, like big map kind of games. I remember there was one battle mode they had where it was like a battle over like a Pacific island, and each side had like an aircraft carrier, and you could launch planes from them, and then most of the battling was done on land. The way that the battle was won by destroying the other aircraft carrier, so you could swim all the way out to the enemy's aircraft carrier and hide like in a back corner of it and take out your melee, which was like a shovel, and just sit there in the corner of their aircraft carrier and just smack their aircraft carrier like 1 point at a time until it died, rather than like dropping bombs on it and everything. And
weirdly effective?
If it was close enough. Yeah, it would definitely take a while. Here, let's create a party. All right, so we're doing all-out warfare, and we're just gonna click play.
Do I need to? Oh, look, it says searching. Okay, I don't need to do anything.
Don't need to do a thing. I got you, baby.
Thanks, sugar.
Now, does it matter who you are for the most part? Like, can you be different people who are the same thing?
So
I didn't really look.
That is one of the most confusing parts of this game. Even reading about all the press that came before it and them explaining the system, if you're familiar with Battlefield, what you know probably is that there's classes. It has been a linchpin in the entire series, the franchise, that you have a medic class, you have a scout class, an assault class, and an engineer usually, and it varies a little bit between the games. But each person has a role, and usually your teams are made up of certain amounts of those roles, or sometimes there's caps, like you can't all be scouts, otherwise everyone's sniping. What they did in this game was decided to move to a specialist system, which is confusing. Like, what is that? Hey, where's Bob? Bob isn't in our squad.
Oh, no.
How did
I'm still on a loading screen.
They gave us Killer
You didn't
Panda.
load in? Oh no, Bob's on the other team.
Oh no.
Bob, you're on the enemy.
It put Bob on the enemy team when we were a squad. Love it. Nailing it so far, Battlefield.
Yeah, this game's great.
Oh, I think I'm about to play.
So right, the specialist system. So what they did instead of having the classes was they added specialists, and now any specialist, any person can have any loadout. There's no restrictions on like this person can only have sniper rifles. This person is the one who can revive. They can all do all the basic abilities. They can have all the different loadouts. The only thing that's different is that each specialist has essentially a special power and a special piece of equipment. McKay, who I am right now, he has a grappling hook. You gonna jump on this bad boy with me? You can hold tight.
Heck
hold tight,
yeah,
baby.
well, once I eat. Okay, I'm on.
Nice.
Oh, wow, I can
You
just...
hold tight.
If I pulled the trigger, you'd be dead.
Oh,
Are people that are bad just people?
Tom, everyone's just people.
Yeah, everyone's people,
I
man.
spawned and died immediately.
Okay, I'm gonna come get you. We got you.
I spawned to death.
Here. Zapping you. You're back.
Oh, good
Oh my
shot.
god, I saved you. I saved your ass.
And I died again.
I got him. Cover me.
It is... The frame rate is so bad. I didn't kill a guy, but I definitely shot a guy.
Nice. Congratulations.
Thanks, man.
Holy shit! They blew up the fucking part of this building.
Ow! Oh, there's a condor. He's hurting people. Oh, it just blew up. Someone saved me?
Yeah, I was about to do this. Some other guy did it.
Frank.
Some rando.
So as I was saying, yeah, specialists can do anything. They can have any loadout. It's just that they have a special power with them. So McKay, who I am right now, I have a grappling hook that allows me to traverse faster, and I can aim.
Well, that's cool.
Move while aiming down sights faster. Also, if you guys have the call-in requirement, which God knows what that is because they don't explain it, you can press B. And that'll pull up your little call-in thing, and you may be able to call in a little robot dog that shoots a gun. What else? A tank, a car, that kind of stuff.
Is there other guns with sights, or am I too new to have?
So, you do have to unlock the sights. However, this game integrates something weird and frustrating. If you hold down T, you bring up your gun modifier while in game.
Okay.
There's a Dr. Niles Crane that just killed Frank. It's tough.
Should just kind of do my own thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's a team game, but yeah.
I just saw a robot dog.
Yeah.
Wow. There's a tree that got blown up, and it's just spinning like...
Hey man, physics is
I don't
crazy,
even know how to describe it.
If you've been in war, you would know. Sometimes physics is just nuts.
I'm the little gun.
Oh, you guys are in a tank together?
Are you in with me?
Yeah, I'm in with you.
Now too. I'm in the tank too,
We're all in the
guys.
same tank?
Yeah, except I'm in the scanner position, so I just look at stuff and scan stuff.
That's pretty lame. I wouldn't tell anyone about that.
Tell me what to shoot.
I don't see any bogeys. Copy. It doesn't give me a directional thing. It would really be great to have, like, you know, a 120 east or something. I got nothing, though. There's a drone, also a person named Mr. Glentastic07. Copy. It's further to the right. I don't know what you're firing at. What is that? I pressed a G. What's it doing? Oh, it's pinging everything behind it. There's one really close to us.
I can't aim because of the angle of the tank. I can't aim.
I got him. I got out of the tank and shot him.
Oh, okay.
He's gonna fuck us up. Saved us.
Good job, man.
I'm in a different position. I'm in a different gun. Oh, I have like a shotgun now.
Oh, I'm not the main gun. I'm like a baby gun.
But you felt really confident about that. I was like,
oh man, I thought I was
and
so
your brother
cool.
gives you the controller. It's not plugged in.
Yeah, that's literally what happened.
Why isn't there a directional thing? I need to be able to say at like 100.
Uh-oh, bad guys.
He's throwing grenades.
Oh, we drove away from him too quick. I couldn't get a shot.
Going back towards him.
Oh my god, I'm gonna throw up.
He's blowing us up bad. Fuck, we all died. Wow, he's got something cooler than C4. He's got C5. Yeah.
That's like the Cat 5 of explosives.
Yeah, super C4.
It's because it's about to explode. That's why they got out of it.
Why did they abandon that vehicle?
I don't know if it's because of all the trees, but this map is so much harder than the other one. Like I played like a city one and another one, and like my computer was doing all right, but this one, it's like
it's really struggling.
It's chugging.
So, like most Battlefield games, it does go by a ticket counter in the bottom left. Every time you respawn, it uses a ticket, and holding points causes the tickets to tick down as well. So, yeah, we're winning by a few points.
That is unbelievable.
Doesn't feel that way, does it?
It's like it's so dumb because it kind of doesn't matter then. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the specialist. So Sundance, she's an assault specialist. She has the wingsuit, which you saw in the trailer.
Yeah, I've used that. It's pretty dope.
Yeah, you just jump off high ledges and you can fly. And actually, if you're good enough at it, you can fly. You can stay high.
You can fucking dive bomb and like hit the ground and you don't die.
And honestly, in any battlefield, I think sniping's always been pretty fun. I mean, in this map particularly, you can see across the map, and if you're good enough, you can snipe across the whole map. And as I said, you can modify the gun that you have by holding down T, and you can actually hot swap out attachments on your gun while you're in the middle of battle. So if you're like, well, I need a bigger scope, if you have the scope unlocked for that gun, you can put the bigger scope on your gun right there.
That's cool.
It's interesting. It's certainly not realistic, but yeah, if you want to pop a 8x scope on your gun and then change into something more close range friendly, you can do it.
Oh my gosh, we're losing one of the ones right at our own thing.
Oh yeah. They got behind us. Yeah, it's Battlefield for you, baby.
You said it, Sugar.
All about those control points.
Hey, guys.
Oh, because they went to their
I'm in a
backlines and
helicopter.
captured. Oh no. Oh, should I spawn with you? I'm gonna spawn with
Yes.
you.
Oh, no. Oh,
Spawning
no.
and I'm jumping, baby.
Oh,
Whoa, I'm
no.
not in control! What's happening?
I jumped out.
I have no control over this. What is going on?
Why can't I jump? There we go.
Oh my god. That guy just rammed into you.
Why was that so impossible?
Yeah, it's the learning curve for flying in these games. I think is too high, but some people you see some people do it and they're just so good at it.
I did
In
not.
Battlefield 3, I thought I was pretty fucking good,
Yeah.
especially in the jets. Ooh, baby.
So something you may notice as we're closing out on our game here,
Everyone was the lady.
well, you'll see that a lot. Is that there's only 12 specialists or so. So you're gonna have a bunch of the same people, and also you're gonna have a bunch of people on the other side that are you. In their effort to move to specialists, they didn't think of the fact that McKay, who McKay or Sundance, the most popular characters, in a game of 128 people, it may be, 60 Sundances versus, 30 McKays, so. All right, let's get back to the lobby here. DICE, which has been a subsidiary of EA since 2006, is the developer of Battlefield franchise. In 2002, after developing Shrek Extra Large for the GameCube, DICE released Battlefield 1942, a game that approached universal acclaim status and ratings. It had huge online multiplayer battles for the time, with lots of vehicles. It was well received. On the same engine, they released Battlefield Vietnam, and the next year they released Battlefield 2, because back in the 2000s, you didn't patch games very often, and you started making games immediately after the next one. So Battlefield 2 was a very well received game with a Metacritic score of 91. The next year, Battlefield 2142 came out. This did not fare as well. This was more of like a mech warrior, some laser guns, vehicle battle stuff. This simply went too far into the future. So after that, we've got Battlefield Bad Company, the PS3, Xbox 360 exclusive that focused on a smaller team gameplay and very destructible environments. They snuck in Battlefield 1943 in 2009. Then a year later, Battlefield Bad Company 2. In 2011, Battlefield 3 came out, again pushing the series further, released with a 89 on Metacritic. Then 2 years after that, we got Battlefield 4, which dropped down to an 81 on Metacritic at its launch. Though, at the moment, at least in the last 10 years, really, this has been the most played Battlefield. After Battlefield 4, that's the most recent one in kind of a modern setting. The two main series games after that are, confusingly, Battlefield 1, which is about World War I, and they're like, well, should we name it? Like, well, we've never named something Battlefield 1 before, so let's name it Battlefield 1. And then, so direct sequel after Battlefield 1 in the same tone and everything. What are you going to call that one? Anyone know?
Battlefield 2?
No, Battlefield 2 they released in 2003-ish.
Trats.
Battlefield 1945.
No, after Battlefield 1, they released Battlefield 5. So just to be clear, they released Battlefield 1942, Battlefield Vietnam, Battlefield 2, Battlefield 2142, Battlefield Bad Company, Battlefield Bad Company 2, Battlefield 3, 4, then Battlefield 1, because World War 1, and then Battlefield 5, which was actually about World War 2. Then we've got this game that we're playing this evening, Battlefield 2042. According to Wikipedia, DICE has about 700 employees. They also did the 2010 Medal of Honor reboot, the Star Wars Battlefront reboot 1 and 2, which is the game that honestly feels exactly like this game and Battlefield 1 and 5, just with a Star Wars skin. And they also made, everyone forgets, Mirror's Edge, but otherwise it's almost exclusively Battlefield for them. The Frostbite engine, which all their games use, is their own creation, and they've used it with some other EA studios as well, including Dead Space, FIFA, Mass Effect Andromeda, and Need for Speed. Game mode that was very mysteriously under wraps for a long time.
Real quick, I just want to say I got glitched inside of a plane for a minute.
Okay.
And when I finally glitched out, I was at the top of the map and just free falling before. Hey, now you have a parachute. So I was like, oh, it's about to get real bad real quick.
Nice. We're going to try out the game mode Hazard Zone. And Hazard Zone, it was under wraps for a very long time. They were teasing it as like it's going to be this new different thing and that Battlefield's never done before. And people are like, oh, they're adding a battle royale mode to Battlefield. This is what we need. And other people are like, well, it's kind of like a Tarkov Light kind of mode, and like maybe it's between those two. And finally they announced this shortly before the launch of the game, really. And we're going to experience it, but it's a PvP VE game. The goal is to drop into a map, you run around and grab these collectibles, and then you want to get to your extract point. You can carry a certain amount of these kind of collectibles, and the point is to get as much experience kind of out of the battle as you can by killing other teams if you run into them or need to, and then get to the extract without dying, and that will kind of carry on in your kind of a legacy kind of sense. And yeah, just to reiterate the specialist thing, so they've got, whatever it is, 12, 14 specialists, and the lore that they've created is these are all like non-patrioted people, and these are warriors that are battling for different countries, and they're mercenaries, and so that's kind of their explanation of like, well, why is McKay fighting for Russia now? Why is he fighting for Canada now?
Did they also go so far as to say they cloned him, or?
All right, so we're looking for the data drives and we're trying to extract. So we got to move together as a team. So, for the group of 4 of us, this is ideal, Let's go to this one. It's 500 away. See that yellow thing? Whoever wants it.
I'll take it.
All right. Free ride for this guy. Going behind this building.
Are they real people?
They're going to shoot at us? I don't know. It might be
Check
computers.
it out?
Yeah. Might be computers. Seems like it's computers. Yeah, it's definitely computers.
Because I'm not dead.
No, just the way they're standing around. I got 2 of them. It was embarrassing.
I like how I just did a
defibrillator.
Oh yeah, when you're alive, your heart was like working.
Yeah, I was bleeding out.
Yeah,
that was not the issue.
Yeah, in fact, I probably just killed you.
There's another team here. That's definitely a guy. That's a team.
Oh.
You can do this, Bob. Carry. Oh, Bob's dead. Redeploy.
Oh, is that the whole thing?
That was the entire match of Hazard Zone. It's 1 life. Yeah.
Oh wow.
So our extraction streak was
real
0.
Bad. Do I?
See, that's what I'm saying. The menu system in this game is so unclear. It's like I want to go into Hazard Zone. How do I pick the loadout for that? And like you go to collection, and is that not it? Are you guys?
There are different loadouts, but I didn't get to pick that in the beginning of the game.
All right, so let's talk about the rollout of this game, because marketing and managing the expectations really does matter these days. First, let's talk about the mindset for this game rolling out. Battlefield 4 had come out in 2013, and since then we had Battlefield 1, which was a well-received game, World War I game though. Then the less well-marketed and successful Battlefield 5, which was set in World War II. Meanwhile, Call of Duty's doing its arcade shooter thing, killing it with Warzone and the Battle Royale space. People know the Battlefield franchise. It's known as the more kind of mature military first-person shooter, I think. It's teamwork, it's classes, it's squads. It's not just carrying everything on your own. Objectives that you're not, going to complete on your own. It's on the Frostbite engine. So people want Battlefield to come into the space as Call of Duty's kind of getting a little tired. Let's see some military vehicles, tactics, real competitor to the Call of Duty franchise in the modern era, I think would be good, right? From the get-go, I'll say the development was just completely riddled with leaks, and they're just kind of constantly coming out as the game is approaching its release date, and none of them are good. Mostly it's about how things are going wrong, how it seems kind of rudderless and directionless. But the main reveal for this game happened in June of 2021. They announced it would be called Battlefield 2042 and revealed it would be a multiplayer only game, foregoing the single player experience entirely, likely based on their experience with Battlefield 5, that they felt people weren't actually interested in a single player game, when Battle Royale style games were the focus. They announced there would be 128 player matches on PC and current gen systems, a little less for the older gen systems. Also, the game includes extreme weather events that change the battle. Similarly, what they call Levolution, where the maps will change as they're played, buildings can be destroyed and stuff. And if the trailer is any indication, they're embracing the shenanigans that just happen out of Battlefield. They, in the trailer, show what's called a rendezvous, where you fly a jet straight up in the air to a stall. You eject out of it, fire like an RPG at the jet pursuing you, and then get back into your own jet. Made popular from, how silly Battlefield can get. And, along the way, they announced a few features. One they teased for a long time is the mysterious game mode that we were talking about ends up being Hazard Zone. The other mode is Battlefield Portal, which essentially is a tool set that allows you to create your own games with very specific gameplay options and maps. And it's based on a lot of the materials that they have from the Battlefield franchise. The trailer teasing that we'll take a look at in a little bit. I think it's one of the best pieces of marketing material that they've had for the game. It shows kind of what the style that you'd expect from 2042, like a character standing in the bay, and they start dropping in different vehicles from different eras in it, a prop plane from World War II, and they show the Battlefield Bad Company trinket on a grenade. And at the end of the trailer, they show a confused group of soldiers dropping in with only defibrillators, and on the other side is World War II geared soldiers dropping in with only knives, and they start fighting it out. The silliness that can ensue from Battlefield Portal mode. All right, we're going to get to the rest of the notes after we try Hazard Zone one more time and successfully extract, right, gang? We can change our weapon here, but you can see how you have a balance that you can spend.
What the hell? Wait, so how do I change my weapon? I click on...
I'm still loading.
If I click on the weapon, nothing happens.
Frank's making it into this game. We're trying to play this 2021 game with potatoes. Yeah, I think so.
I can't even use the grappling hook guy? What the fuck?
It's because I'm the grappling hook guy.
We can only each put one person?
It can only be one.
I mean, that would only make sense, right? It's not like you'd have more than one McKay in a match.
You said.
That would seem like... Yeah, there's more people on that team. Got him. Can you get Bob up? I'll cover you.
Yeah, I'm getting him up now. Defib! Bob's dead.
He's super dead now. So this game was very, very hyped. It was the number 2 most discussed game of 2021, according to Metacritic. Composer Hildur Gudnadottir, who won an Oscar for her music in 2019's Joker, is doing the soundtrack for this game. They do a delay, but then they assure the fans that there's nothing to worry about. Everything's on track. They schedule the open beta and they reveal the progression XP system. Everything appears to be good. People are happy. It's not pay to win, that kind of thing, But throughout all this, like I said, there have been negative rumors swirling around, leaks that the game only has 22 guns in it was eventually leaked, and that was seen as a huge step backwards. Also hearing reports of directionless development for the game. Then the open beta happens, and the open beta. I asked you guys before, so I guess no one else played it. I'm the only one who played it, but I've played a handful of beta games, and this is definitely the most unpolished one I've ever seen. The amount of bugs and we saw a bunch of physics glitches that just playing for like half an hour, but there were some wild ones that were happening like at every death, and it was hard to play the game without them. Specialist system, which was, experienced finally, was not at all well received. People saying that it didn't feel like a Battlefield game at all, that they were these huge maps, but somehow still felt empty. There weren't very many things in them with 128 people, still felt empty. It felt like there were never any established fronts to the fights. It was just complete chaos all the time, with exploded helicopter bodies spinning through the air, corpses flailing around, being sniped from God knows where, and everyone can revive teammates sometimes, but other times it's only when you're in their squad. It's just, I don't know, my experience with it was I was just genuinely confused, and the progression about unlocking more things was confusing, just kind of poor presentation about what I'm playing for. So after the open beta, they walk it back a bit and they say, oh, well, this version you're playing is actually a month old. Many of these bugs we've fixed and everything's happening on time. Most people, including myself, felt like this game is not anywhere near ready, not a month ready, that it couldn't be fixed in the amount of time they were saying the game was going to launch. In fact, they had a blog post prior to launch that said, no launch is ever without flaws. We know about these issues and are working hard to fix them. And they released a list of 100 points of known issues that they were going to launch the game with anyway, but they're like, but we're fixing them, we're aware of them, we know. Here are some of the complaints about the game as it launched. This is mostly compiled from Reddit user Afterlife. There is no scoreboard during the game that you can view during game, so you can't see how many bots there are, and it's also very helpful to know if there's a cheater in your game to view the scoreboard. As it is, you don't know if you're playing with a cheater. Also, there's no scoring system for your contributions. Instead, you get EXP or badges at the end, but no details on what you've done, how it's helping your team. For example, giving someone someone a revive, or you're supplying someone with ammo, that's not counted into the scores, which has always been part of Battlefield. Also, there's no stat page for your profile outside of the game. So like if I wanted to see my lifetime of contributions, no way to see that. Also, there's no server browser, which I'll pause on for a second. Once Portal launches, there is a server browser. But I think in an effort to kind of streamline things, they removed what they did was they removed kind of the technical side, the back end side of their official servers. And that's kind of normal for like Call of Duty or Fortnite. Frank, when you go to play Fortnite, you don't like look at a server list and say, I'm going to join the server. You just hit play, right? And sometimes you hit play for this mode or that mode. But in general, they have like a few featured modes and that's it. That's all their games. They're trying to do that in this Battlefield. And Battlefield's never really been that way. It's more about like there are established servers. Some of them are official and you join them. I guess they decided that that's like too much of a barrier of entry. It can seem a little complicated that I'm going to join this match. And certainly like some of their games have had like quick play kind of things where you jump right into them, but because there was no server choice on launch at all, it seemed like a weird step back for this game. Also, people said that the lobbies disband after match, which is true. If you just kind of do like their version of a quick play, you're going to play with some people. Maybe you'll get along well with your squad, and then the server will just end and reset, which again is different. Back in the day, you joined a server, you would stick around with those people for a while through matches, and then you would play on attack, and then the map would flip, and you would play on defense.
That was something in Modern Warfare that would stay too, right? Because I remember like playing where you'd like end up getting like a good group, and it felt like everyone would intentionally hang around because they're like, oh, we're finally got like a good team,
Yeah, and it's even on like Modern Warfare 2 with you were just joining a game and you could never view like a server list, but yeah, there was server persistence. Even if you couldn't see like do a server browser, but the games were persistent and that the same people would be in the squad with you. Well, it looks like we're all in the game this time.
We did it.
Maybe.
I'm gonna be the lady, the
Sundance,
the older lady, and she's good at healing.
Oh, good. Yeah, she has a Surette pistol that you shoots needles at your friends and that heals them. Yeah, so our balance, the money that we make from previous rounds kind of carry over, and you can invest that in better guns. And I spent all my money last time on a DMR, and I don't
where we
have
died
anything.
Instantly.
All right, so you can press M if you want to. It doesn't show anything on it though. Hold on, wait till we get out.
That was fucking useless. Why would you stay?
Okay, now it does. Okay, hold on. Let's scan.
Okay.
There's ammo there. Yeah, you can't see ping here, I don't think. I'm hearing shots.
They don't want you to know who to blame, you know what I mean? They're like, yeah, we'll make it a mystery.
Yeah.
Why let you do
Pinging
something that
again.
every other game does?
I can see how like if it did, like if it was running really well, how like the rain and the effects like could look really cool.
Yeah, so if you've seen what it looks like on my screen, I'm running it in medium settings, I'm pretty sure. It looks pretty good on medium. It's a good looking game. On at least on my settings, in my experience, it has been a good looking game. You guys were saying otherwise earlier. I'm seeing a bunch of people down here.
Fuck, I'm getting shot. God damn it.
I killed a guy, but he was probably a computer if I killed him.
No, don't say that, man. You don't know that.
Oh my gosh.
That guy did such a cool tactical shotgun on you guys. All right. So that is Hazard Zone. We've experienced the Hazard Zone.
We didn't do shit.
Lack of class system, and we've talked some about that, but also their complaint is that you can combine any weapons, kind of creating a bad meta balancing for weapons, so a lot of people run the same gear. They also point out that a specialist system doesn't make any sense for fighting wars and breaks immersion. In 128 player game, you might have like 35 McKays fighting 28 McKays, and everyone cynically believes, I think correctly, that the reason that they moved to specialists was to sell cosmetics, but in beta, you get photos like where it's a picture of a McKay stabbing a McKay in the back while McKay in the background looks the other direction. And that was just normal, Just they point to mechanics that were removed, including leaning, vaulting out of windows, stumbling animations, knockback from explosions, throwing back and shooting grenades, crouch sprinting, and more. All of these like different mechanics were removed from previous iterations of Battlefield, so it feels like a step backwards. They comment overall movement is worse than previous Battlefield titles. lacking in the animations as well as the different movements on the weapons. There's less destruction overall, less buildings that can be destroyed, environments, even though the maps are bigger. The tactical sprint that they've added in this game has literally no downsides. There's no cooldown to running. There's no delay with ADS. You can't edit your loadout in the main menu. You have to do it in game. That is something I think they've changed. You can look at it in the collection now. Also, you can't dive underwater, making you a floating duck when you are in the water. There's no squad or team voice chat. I think they still haven't added it. And there's pages of other features of quality of life stuff that's been removed compared to previous games. So, I unlocked a scope for my gun. That's exciting. We are going to join a custom server, and this one is a hardcore server.
Oh, great.
Yeah. Now, you can do lots of different things with the portal mode. I was talking about using guns from different eras, different battlefields. We'll take a look at that in a little bit. But so this is a server that someone else is paying for the hosting space for. They're hosting this game and, is running off their servers. But they've set the rules for it. And they have turned off mini-maps entirely. They disabled quite a few guns. And the damage done by guns is, more hardcore realistic. And I played it for a little bit, and I gotta say I really enjoyed myself. It is almost one-hit kills. What it forces you to do is not to sprint around and be some sort of god. You're playing very strategically on the lines of the battlefield. Unfortunately for this map, you can't even pull up a map at all. All you can do is look at the points that you need. Unfortunately for this map, there's a ton of open space.
It's just crazy to me. What's nuts is that
What's nuts?
You can play Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 that we played back in the day. It was just awesome.
Uh-huh.
And then fast forward how many years?
Uh-huh. A lot, yeah.
Over 10?
Oh, yeah.
And then be like,
get
no,
him, Frank,
just make
get him.
shittier ones. Like, it's just like, you know what I mean? Like, you'd think like, no, man, like everything is better. It's super cool. It's super fun. Like, I don't know. It's just crazy to me that they're like, no, it's just worse.
One of the most repeated complaints about this game you'll hear is people talking about specialists, and that can be a little confusing being complained about. But what it boils down to this is Battlefield has always been, with little exception, a class-based game. You're just a scout. You're just a medic. You're just an engineer. You're not a named character. You can outfit your scout or sniper class differently, like change your weapons around a bit. Like you can give your engineer a C4 instead of like a repair materials, but usually they're just a class. What you are in this game is a person, like a named person with a specialty and a trait. A specialist can use any loadout of any gun, throwables they want, but the specialist equipment and trait are unique to them. Some examples are the wingsuit that is often seen in the commercials, and McKay has a grappling hook that I've been using. There's a character, Dozer, that has a ballistic shield. May not seem like a big deal, but it's a big change for Battlefield. There's one specialist who's better at healing, but otherwise everyone can be a medic. There's one person that's a little better at camping, but otherwise everyone can be a sniper. And as the commentator above said, this forces a meta about what games are best, and everyone is running them at the end game, at least in theory. I don't know if anyone's playing the game enough to get to an end game. Also, one of the sticking points for me about this game is the presentation I've been talking about, like how it looks on the front end of picking games. On the back end, what's happening is they have official servers, and you get to those by picking these like featured things on the homepage, and that's going to change like weekly or whenever they want to. But there really are just a couple game modes that they've tried to make the experience seamless. But as the complaint said, it's a big departure from Battlefield to not be able to stay in a lobby and be on attack, then be on defense, and play with the same people over again. So right now you've just kind of got your normal modes like Conquest, Breakthrough, and we talked about Hazard Zone and died in it a couple times, and finally Portal mode, where they do I have the notes here? In Portal mode that they announced, they'd be adding 40 new weapons to the game from old versions of the game, and 40 new vehicles, or 40 old vehicles to this game to use in that. So yeah, we're going to try and do one of the older Portal modes now. Let's see. World War II experience, and there's no one in it really. Hold on. Let's find one that's populated, because it's a map from Battlefield 1942. Me and you, Tom, fly that helicopter. Is that what you want to do? Yeah.
All right, I'm in.
Whee!
What's my job?
Look pretty.
Oh, yeah, you're right. It is look pretty.
Oh no, Tom.
Oh, no!
Okay, we're okay. I got a hack warning. We're being hacked in World War II in the Battle of the Bulge.
Oh no. Oh no! Are we alive? Oh
no, we are.
This is my corpse.
It should be easier. Since we're against all bots, right? Hitboxes are bad?
I don't know. I keep getting wrecked.
So, okay.
Yeah, I just suck.
I didn't mean to brag.
I'm gonna cry later, but for another reason.
Totally unassociated reason. Portal mode seems like everyone was very excited about the ability that Portal mode was giving people, especially the pitch that everything in the old Battlefield games, I never said everything, but a lot of things from the old Battlefield games you'll be able to recreate in this new engine, top of the line engine here. The issue is that any core mechanic that is a problem with Battlefield 2042 is going to exist in Portal as well. It'll never feel like you're playing Battlefield 1942 in this game because running has changed, aiming down sights has changed, movement has changed. Those things are not getting back those old movements, how it feels in the old games. But most people's opinion seems to be if they continue to add content to it, it's worth maybe $15. Although I've heard that a lot of the vehicles, like, we added this Jeep back that was in Battlefield 2. It feels a lot like, you just took the truck that you made for 2042 and just reskinned it. It handles exactly the same. All right, we're going to try Zombies AI versus Real Humans. All right, I don't know what... I've heard that they added a special feature of Zombies mode. I have not seen what it actually is like, though. I haven't seen any zombies yet. Let's see. What are you guys shooting at? The zombies have guns, I guess. I don't know. I got killed by a plane.
There are zombies with guns?
I don't know. This just seems like a server. It's not zombies.
I'm in a tank. Everyone, come join.
Okay, I'm in the tank with you.
Okay.
I'm on the front gun, sir. I'm gonna shoot that helicopter.
Oh, yeah. Oh, well, that's not
I haven't hit him
for
once.
me, but... We're looking for some investment property.
Okay. See some bodies on the ground.
Chief, I feel like that would really drive down sales.
Agreed. That's a bad guy right there. Took his knees out. There's another one right there. Got him.
There you go.
We're creating bodies. We're the problem.
Uh-oh.
There's a lot of people here. Oh my god, you just got 4 kills at once.
That's easily the best thing I'll do, period. I should just quit.
That was more kills than you've gotten the entire time we've been playing.
Yes.
There's 3 guys right here. Got him.
Shot a teammate in the back. Oh my god, it was Bob. Oh, Bob, no. I got you, Bob.
I always knew this day would come.
Alright, we've explored it and no one's doing anything too interesting in here, I don't think. Yeah. I have a section for story because we talk about stories in this podcast, but there is no single player. They say that the plot is supposed to be revealed through the settings of the map. And they've also released a little short film called Exodus, which focuses on the character Irish, who was a character in Battlefield 4 as well, who's was voiced by Michael K. Williams, who played Omar on The Wire. He passed away shortly after the release of this game, actually, or before the release of this game. But
oh, dang.
Anyway, the plot of this game is that nations' economies are collapsing, rising sea levels, broken alliances, lots of refugees, energy crisis. The Kessler syndrome happens. Anyone know what the Kessler syndrome is? If you know, you win immediately. You win the prize this evening.
It's like bad AI.
So, I mean, it's a good guess. Frank, Bob, anything? Kessler
it's
syndrome?
like the Kessel Run, but in your brain.
Oh, that's good. I like that. Bob?
You know what? AI makes sense. I don't know, though.
All right, going with an AI kind of thing. Okay, you're all wrong. If you haven't heard of it, it's the idea that there could be so many satellites in low orbit and other space pollution that it starts to cause a cascade of collisions, taking out tons of functioning satellites. In fact, some people think that Elon's Starlink program will greatly contribute to this happening. Anyway,
yes. Isn't that why China wants to destroy it? It was either because it gets around their firewall or that. I forget which one. I mean, they could have said it was the one for the other.
A little bit of both. A little bit of A, a little bit of B.
Yeah, a little column maybe. Yeah, I can see that. Also, like they've been working on like missile systems for a while to get rid of space junk because there's a picture you don't realize how much shit they launch into space. This is from 2009. How much was in the atmosphere?
Oh wow.
Yeah, there's a lot of shit just orbiting around Earth, and they're trying to track it as best they can.
So there's dead satellites up there hanging
only
out.
Occasionally does it crash down, and you hear about it when it does too. It's like, oh, I think, and they don't know where it's going to crash. They say like, we think somewhere in this hemisphere there's a thing that's going to crash that happened like a year ago, and it ended up hitting the ocean. But there's a lot of it that can come down. Anyway, that happens in the game, causing 70% of the satellites to be destroyed, and that's kind of it. That's the plot lore of this game. There's big ground wars because nations, because resource crises, and that's that's kind of it. So we're launching into a game now that is Bad Company 2 versus Battlefield 3 Team Deathmatch. So one team is set up as geared out from Battlefield Bad Company 2, and the other one is Battlefield 3. I'd be shocked if it feels much different, to be honest.
You got me.
Does this feel like a drastically different game?
No.
This is one of their featured ones that's like, oh, well, this is the great things you can do with Portal. This is BC2 versus BF3.
The implication being what exactly? That like
the loadouts are different. That like this is what like a faction from this game versus that game would feel like.
Oh man, it feels so different.
dying instantly is still just as fun though.
Yes, they knew what worked and they didn't change it. Bob, I got you. I'm gonna stick you with this EpiPen. There you go. They're all better now. That's all it took. You just had a little allergic reaction to a bullet there.
Can't eat peanuts.
I've seen enough. All right, so I'm going to run through the news articles that I found. I think I looked up
Frank.
like GameSpot and just copy down some of the news articles that have come out since this game came out. From one article, videos emerging on social media have shown the game's hovercraft scaling sheer cliffs, driving right up the sides of buildings, and in one case managing to take down a helicopter while flying through the air. That was a good glitch that was going around for a while. You could just drive the hovercraft up the side of a building all the way to the top of like a 50-story building. Next, Battlefield 2042's rubber banding issues being investigated by DICE. Then Battlefield 2042 has more than 33,000 negative reviews on Steam. Then DICE's head of design is leaving following a release of Battlefield 2042. Then on December 1st, 3 weeks after it had launched, it had dropped from its peak of 105,000 players down to 34,000 players over the period of 24 hours. Then DICE GM announced a major shakeup of the franchise, announcing Respawn's Vince Zampella taking on the role as the overall boss. Vince Zampella, known for heading Infinity Ward to develop Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, and then he was with Respawn Entertainment, which made Apex Legends. Then 5 months ago from now, they said Battle Royale was coming in the near future. Note, we have not played a Battle Royale in this evening. 4 months ago, they said they were adding a scoreboard. Then they announced a limited time zombie mode. Then they announced they were ending zombie mode because it became an EXP farm. Then they delayed season 1 of the game, which by the way has not come out yet. This game is 7 months old and it has not started its first season of, whatever the hell a season is in a live service game these days. Then they announced they were delaying the scoreboard. Then they announced balances to game modes. They announced they were delaying the scoreboard again. They announced the next update will have the scoreboard. Then they released the scoreboard. They announced the next Battlefield is already in production. They announced over 400 fixes coming in the next patch. Then they announced 2 weeks ago that they are removing Hazard Zone. They realized that it is not the right fit for this game, is what they said. So in the next patch, which comes out possibly tomorrow, I can't remember. There's a patch rolling out tomorrow that's supposed to fix about 100 things. I can't remember when it is that they're officially removing Hazard Zone though. And the game is receiving version 1.0 patch, which means it's out of beta. Like, I'm not sure was the version number before 1.0 before, but yeah, everyone, including myself, paid near a full price for a beta game still. So let's move on into the reviews from the original pitch to what they produced. What do you guys think? The next entry in the great legendary Battlefield series. How'd they do? Tom?
I genuinely like to try to give it its due and like not be like, because I know that like part of it is like, I'm not running it at like the highest level it could be ran and stuff. But so I'm gonna also try to take something else away and give it to its credit. There was a time where I felt like I was really good at this. Like Modern Warfare 2 was like, that was like our peak moment where I was good, And like seriously really loved the game then, and thought I had skill. And like I don't know. Maybe I'm just past my prime. Like maybe I can't expect to enjoy a game like this because like I'm just gonna get annihilated. You know, like maybe it's just like and I don't know if that's inherent to the game, like to the genre itself. That's just like, hey, you know, listen, like don't play this if you're like if you don't have, you know, like a skill level in like if you've lost your skill level in first person shooter. But to me, that feels like it makes it just a lot less like fun for like people to join. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe like I said, maybe I'm being a baby. I'm not sure which one it is. But for me, it was super not fun. But like I'm alive for like 3 seconds and then I'm dead. And I don't know. It's just not that entertaining when you play a game like that.
Yeah, I 100% agree that it feels like the learning curve for this. And even if you're not, even if you're a little bit familiar with what works in Battlefield, I was very overwhelmed immediately. And it like I said, the tutorial, it gives you a little one in the beginning, but otherwise there's not a space to try out weapons, to figure out movement and what works. It's just you're in the game and immediately not having fun.
It's like playing a boxing game where like you're a toddler and everyone else is Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
And then they're like, no, like you'll get better. And you're like, what do you mean? Like I step into the ring and then he rips my head off. Like that's it.
And I'm not
like,
super incentivized to keep getting better, you know? Like, I mean, sure, I could like keep going into games and practice with the jet and the helicopter and stuff, but it's like, it's hard to learn those things in their system. There's other people that are great at it. And
that's another great point. It's like, I was excited to try those things, and I did try them, but you're like again, like a good analogy, but at least keep it with vehicles. Like imagine having a teenager and you're like going to driver's ed for the first time, and then like you put him behind the vehicle and you're also shooting rocket launchers at him, and like he's not gonna learn shit about driving a car. Like so I don't know, like I got in a helicopter and like flew up, and literally this was my experience in one of the first games we played. Is I got up and I was like, oh, okay. So I can use my WASD and like it kind of does up, down, left, and right. And I'm like, my controller, that works on something. I'm dead.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. And I was just like, I don't know, should I even do that again or...
Yeah, no, and when you're a part of a team and this game stresses the importance of team play, like at least the way that I play the game, I'm like, I want to help the team. I don't want to crash a plane, you know, that hurts us. So you're not incentivized to be learning the game either. It's they haven't found the right balance with it.
Yeah, and I think part of the solution to that is having a first player game.
Yeah,
you know, like so when you have a multiplayer only game, and I guess you could set it up against only bots, but I feel like then it's the opposite. You're kind of training yourself to like, I don't know, just it's not a realistic expectation of the game, and
yep.
I don't know, but it's not as fun as a result.
I miss the single player. They said that they felt like that was a down part to their investment in Battlefield 5, was that they put so much time into single player and it didn't sell very well because they felt like people weren't interested in it. But I still feel like it's necessary. Bob, Frank, what do you think? Yeah, glad you took some time out of your evening to try this out.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. I feel like I paid too much for the EA pass. It was only $5, and I was more excited. Like, yeah, we want to do a little homework. I want to get the tutorial, play a little bit with it. So I played for about an hour. I'm like, I'll play before the show starts, and then after about an hour, I'm like, let's take a break out of this. I want to download Madden because now I have it with the EA Pass. I played that for a while. I'm like, man, that's so much more fun than this game. You know what? That Army game that we played a couple months ago, that was a free shooter thing. America's Army. Yeah. I would much rather play that again than this game right here.
That was a lot more fun. It was so much more fun.
And the community was there too.
Yeah, the was there.
Taking the chat away
Harry
from
Moose.
taking the chat away.
I just don't get how this game is new. The graphics aren't even crazy. It's not like, oh, it's whatever. My computer's not terrible. I can run most games decent if I go on low settings, whatever. And I couldn't run crap on this. A fast internet.
It is very demanding, and that's one of the consistent complaints too. I don't know. Maybe I got lucky with my setup. I don't have a great setup, but it seems to run it okay. But so many people complain that the performance is so poor.
It's so demanding for no reason.
Yeah.
I'll never get that about like PC, where like it's kind of like that age-old debate, like PC versus console, but it's like, you know what? Buy a game on the Xbox, like I expect it to work, and it will be.
You can bet on that.
Like,
well, that being said, people were complaining about the performance of this game on consoles as well. But
yeah, that's sad.
Frank, got anything to toss in there?
Yeah, I hate it.
All right. Well, let's talk about some of the critic reviews. What do you think the critics said about Battlefield 2042? What do you think it landed on Metacritic? 0 to 100.
35.
I'm gonna say 25.
42. The answer to life.
42. Frank had the highest score, and he is closest to being correct. This game actually has a 68 on Metacritic, which is honestly pretty wild. We're going to read some of the reviews here. I think the game got like a baseline of like, well, we can't give it lower than this because it's a AAA title, you know, and there's no denying that they put millions of dollars into this game, and that
we still want our trials system, you know, we still want to get the game before launch, you know.
Yeah, we don't want to lose on a high-end system. Like, it does look good if you run some. I'm playing some video from like in-game render stuff at least, but I mean the engine, the Frostbite engine, can look good. Looks like they have their premiere for season 1 0 hour. It happens in 11 hours from now.
We should all stay up and watch it.
There's a video of you can watch how to customize your loadout, because every game gives you a video how to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So when I installed the game, played it for a while months ago, and then I installed it again to play it for the podcast. And on their homepage, like, watch this video to learn about how to make the most out of your loadouts. And it was teaching you how to use your loadouts. And it's like, there's got to be a better way to learn the basics of this game rather than you putting a splash screen on your game that launches a YouTube video that'll minimize the game, and I have to watch your YouTube video to learn how to play your game. It just it doesn't seem to make sense, the rollout of what this game is. I think on the base level of it all, there's like some core gameplay there, and what they've done is they're like, okay, well, we'll feature this game mode and this game mode, like different ways to use their engine, but there's not a cohesive story being told, and the gameplay mechanics, even underneath all of it, are fairly poor, it feels like, compared to their older games. Anyway, let's hear what the critics had to say. Tom, what do you got there?
NME says 60. Battlefield 2042's biggest problem is it tries to deliver power to the players at the expense of everything else. However, when every player is exceptional all the time, the end result is that everything just appears altogether ordinary. Beautiful graphics and some incredibly well-done remakes of earlier games can't stop this Battlefield from being a disappointment.
Yeah, and I don't know. I genuinely don't know what they're talking about. Well done remakes of previous games. There's like some maps from the previous games. Maybe you could be nostalgic about, but
I think it's a super generous review.
Yeah, it's a 60. And honestly, the ones that I have here, they only go up from there. So Bob, what do you have?
We have a more generous review. So PC Games gave a 70. Battlefield 2042 had the match ball against Call of Duty in 2021, where fans were disappointed about the first look on Vanguard. Battlefield came as a savior, but they dropped the ball. Battlefield 2042 is a good game with great moments, but behind every new design decision is a big fat butt. Oh yeah. The new specialists are a great way to diversify the gameplay and gives freedom to the players, but they kill the team play with this new freedom. Hazard Zone has some great moments in it, but the devs forgot motivational systems for games to play a long time. The gameplay is a good mix of the best of Battlefields, but there are bugs all over the place. That's all things that can be managed with patches and content updates in the future, but that should not be how the standard for all releases going on. If DICE and EA would have delayed Battlefield 2042 maybe for 6 months, they could have had a masterpiece. Now it's another big blow in the buggy reputation of the franchise.
Yeah, and the franchise is kind of known for having buggy launches. Battlefield 4, which is the other most recent kind of modern Battlefield, had a very buggy launch, and its Metascore was fairly bad, but it is at the moment has more players than this game because they gave it support and people kept coming back to it as the most recent entry into kind of a modern Battlefield. Frank, who do you have there?
PC Mag says 60. Battlefield 2042 is an ambitious shooter that features the excellent portal mode creation tool. Unfortunately, technical issues and balance problems mean that you may want to hold off buying the game until EA DICE irons out the kinks.
Yes,
or they take out all the feat stuff. Or maybe they add more feat stuff.
Now, before I read this review, I will say that This podcast probably was started on the idea of like looking at old EGM magazines and finding games that were poorly reviewed and wanting to take a look at those games. That being said, EGM gave this game 100. Battlefield 2042 brings the sandbox back to the series in bold and controversial ways. The new specialist system might be seen as sacrilege at first, but it opens up gameplay opportunities that weren't possible in previous titles. The massive, well-designed maps offer plenty of room for experimentation and emergent stories, and the modes are a blast. And that's just all-out warfare. Between that, Hazard Zone, and the expansive Battlefield Portal, Battlefield 2042 has something to offer everyone without feeling like it's stretched too thin. It's a true revolution of the series, one that pushes back against a stagnation that threatened the series' future. It won't be for everyone, but for players who crave imagination and fun from their battlefields, it will give them everything they crave and more. With that being said, EGM has changed ownership several times, and I'm convinced that they were paid for this review. Is that liable? I don't know. That's a wild thing to say about this game, even almost 8-9 months after patches and stuff. So,
you know what else? If you were to read that and not know the score, right?
Yeah.
Like multiple times, like he says, oh, this is really controversial, or oh, it might at first seem like sacrilege, and it's like, but you're saying it's perfect.
Yeah, this game is 100% perfect.
Right, but like, how can something be like,
even though it's not for everyone and
up for debate and contentious? Right, exactly. Like when it's perfect. Like it wouldn't be. It would just be loved universally, period.
Yeah. All right. So we've heard from some of the critics. But is this game someone else's treasure? Probably not. What do you user score? 0 to 10. What do you guys think?
3.
I really think he's right, but I think people on users get more mad, so I'm going to say 2.
2. And Bob, what do you think?
You know what? I gotta be different. I'm gonna say 1.
It's like the closest. Well, it has a 2.1 on Metacritic, making Tom the closest. Congratulations. And it has a mostly negative on Steam, with actually less people giving it a positive review recently. Normally you see it get review bombed when it comes out, and then it starts to get a little bit better, but it's more negative more recently. So we're gonna read a couple of reviews here from across.
Was that Mokemeister?
Good luck pronouncing it.
Sure. Right? Mokemeister gave it a negative 3. This game is meant to sell, not play. They invested all their efforts into things like pointless weather effects and completely unnecessary scale so they could use items and selling points instead of investing in the gameplay. And because of that ridiculous scale, they decided to throw in as many vehicles as possible without thinking of balancing them. They swapped classes, a Battlefield staple, for specialists because it'll be easier to monetize. They got rid of so many great details and gameplay additions from old Battlefields so they could focus on making the game more sellable, not playable.
Yeah, although I disagree with his assertion of vehicles, because I think most Battlefields had more types of vehicles, but and we saw them all just from playing about 2 hours.
I do like that better about Battlefield than like Call of Duty, was actually vehicles and whatever else, which is a different thing to have.
Frank, what you got there?
Polar Wolf gives it a 2. I have not much to add to the amount of criticism that's already been written. Everything, and more of it, is true. This should never have been released in its current state. It's too late for me, but hopefully someone else will see this. Do not buy this game in the current state. If you still can, request a refund. It looks gorgeous, yes, but the gameplay is really bad in its current state. Its only saving grace is Portal, and even there, the issues from the main game are present. It's great to see the old classic remastered in the new engine, and everything looks gorgeous again, but only pretty does not make a good game.
True words, Polar Wolf. And one more from Steam.
This is Fanamanali? Fanamanali?
Sure.
This game was such a train wreck. It made me majorly cut down on gaming and improve myself. I actually got homework done, started going to the gym, and made fond in real life memories with my friends. Thanks, DICE. Recommended.
There you go. Heard from some of the critics and users. It's time we gave this game a score it deserves using our Garbage Valley score system. Our score system is a little unique here. Most use a 0 to 10 scale, but leaves a little appreciation for games that are so bad they're good. So as normally you've got your masterpieces of media like that approach 10. Maybe Battlefield 1 was a very good game. Got 8s and 9s. So that's where that would be. And then lower on the scale, a Battlefield 5 was the more recent one that did less. That gets down to a 5, 4 maybe. But as they get worse, they get closer to 0. We keep going all the way past 0 to -10. Once it gets into the negatives, it means it's getting so bad it's good again. A -10 gives you just as much enjoyment as a +10. So where would you place this on the scale? Is it a good game in the positives, or is it a bad game in the negatives? And what value of enjoyment? Frank, what do you think?
It's a great question.
Savor it.
I hate it. I don't like it. I don't think it's good. I'm gonna give it a -3.
Anything you think they could do to salvage this? And that's the question I kind of wanted to get into, because they can keep patching it. Do you think, if they continue to support it, can it be turned around into a good game?
I don't know, but I will not find out.
All right. Bob, what do you think?
Well, when you go in the negatives, it means you had fun playing it, and I had no fun with this.
No.
Right?
Well, if you go all the way up into the negatives, it does.
The higher the number, the more fun you had. And the negative is bad.
Right.
The positive
negative
is
means
good.
it's bad. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Then I don't want to copy Frank do 3, so I'll do -2. It's closer to
-2.
0.
Okay.
I wasn't a fan of it.
What do you think? Can they salvage it?
Maybe do some patches in it, or, just, I don't know what the hell to do. I don't know, is it texture-wise or what? But, man, it's so demanding, and it's ridiculous.
Oh, yeah, for as far as playability
I feel like you
on
make
the
it more
system,
playable, which at this point they should figure out how to do. They made, it's their first game they've ever
it's
made.
not like we're playing on potatoes. It's we play games on our computers, and we've done some games that are fairly high demanding, but this is it's a 2021 release, and even their low resolution settings are crushing us.
Yeah, I play Warzone, other games that are other FPSs, whatever else. No problem. Not even a hints of lag, and this is just insane.
Yeah. All right, Tom, what do you think?
So Frank actually said my exact score, -3.
-3. Okay.
I wanted to give it a lower score, but I thought about it, and I do think that maybe if I was just better, I would have found more enjoyment from it. Yeah, I don't know. And as far as improving it, I guess for me, I would think that there's a difference between when you're trying to be hyper realistic. I don't even know if the game can suggest that it's trying to be that. Where I don't know, you get into a plane. So I got into a plane on one of the maps, and I was able to control the plane fairly decently.
Yeah, so I was watching you fly around. Yeah.
And the map is so small that if you're not making circles and I mean tight circles the entire time, you're out. And the plane
is a balance when you have a MiG or some sort of jet fighter that's supposed to be able to play in these maps. It's how big does the map have to be to accommodate a jet, and also accommodate infantry? It's right, a weird balance.
And you'd think with a jet like that in real life, they would be doing a long strafing run. It wouldn't be circling 1 square mile. You know what I mean? Just going in circles and then trying to get a shot off every couple seconds when it makes the circle again. You would take these long calculated routes and swoop down, and I tried to do that, and I guess just that is a good way to describe the rest of the game. Is it's they throw this concept that could be fun, but then they don't think about it. You can fly a plane, but you can't actually go anywhere.
Right.
You can, and a lot of the other modes just I don't know, it just didn't seem fun.
Yeah, unfortunately, we didn't get to experience the 128 player battles. I don't even see it on their homepage anymore. Maybe they already pulled it down because they were having trouble filling lobbies. But on the biggest maps, which I'm showing some of them on stream right now, there are some genuinely very, very large maps. Now that I think of it, we probably mostly played pretty small ones, but some of the maps are just absurdly large. But most of the time, it comes down to we're not using any of this map. We're fighting in this one area, and and a lot of times when you're doing those the conquest with that many people, you have just swarms of people running around, and it's just so much chaos you can't tell what's happening.
Well, Frank said it well. You have to, like, if you miss out on a vehicle, sometimes the first like minute of your gameplay is just running, and it's almost worse than dying at spawn. is to run for 2 minutes straight, see no enemy, and then get shot from like behind because it was someone that was just like waiting for people coming from the spawn and just picking them off one by one. Like it's brutal.
I really wanted Battlefield 2042 to be a more team-based, realistic Call of Duty, because I like Call of Duty, but I don't love like the arcade feel of it, and I thought there was a big gap for Battlefield to be the more serious team-based tactical game. So I went into this with like every bias of trying to like it, and I think I bought it maybe a month after it came out for like $25 or $20 when it was on sale, and I really tried. I kept coming back to it and trying to learn, like, okay, why am I dying here? I can get better at it, and I did. I got better and didn't die as much. I was able to enjoy myself maybe a little bit, but just the progression system isn't there. I was confused why like certain modes seem to be broken, and they don't contribute to your EXP, and that's something that's changed too, because back in the day when you're playing Battlefield 1942, just a server-based thing, there's no progression system. Modern Warfare really changed that kind of expectation that you want your account to accrue EXP, and you want a level, and you want all this stuff, it's kind of ruined it for us, but I don't know if it's ruined. It's made things better in my opinion, but there's this expectation that it's there, and some of these like servers, they don't support that because they're not official servers, and people do EXP farms and shit. So anyway, I did find a couple servers, like I was saying, in portal mode that I enjoyed, doing the more hardcore mode thing. It felt like, kind of the one-hit kills that felt more strategic. Our team was slowly pushing up along the lines, and there weren't tanks flying around and helicopters circling overhead and explosions happening for God knows what reason, and there were more limited number of vehicles that were being used strategically. I thought that was good, but on top of that, that's a system that someone has made out of this game, despite the bad game mechanics. I think if the game mechanics had more time into them, it would be more enjoyable. It sounds like Battlefield 5 has a system in place that I would enjoy more, with movement and mechanics and stuff, but regardless of what they do with this game, I don't think they'll be investing the time into the core of this game to get it better. And it's been a chore through and through for this game. I was really hoping that they would have fixed it and we wouldn't do it on garbage game night, but with hearing that they're removing Hazard Zone and they're still rolling out patches with hundreds of fixes of things that I thought they fixed months ago, it's a garbage game. So that's where I'm coming from. I'm gonna say negative. I'll go a little higher, -4 for me, because maybe not in the state that it is right at this moment, but because I experienced it in its beta with all its complete nonsense of sometimes you would die and your body would start twirling around in circles up into the sky, out of the skybox, and it's been a mess through and through. So yeah, -4 for me. What a mess, Battlefield. I looked into a few opportunities, and what I found was someone actually made a Battlefield 2042 logo with their kind of signature like glitch happening in the middle of their logo. And what I realized would be very easy to do would be just to get your guys. I was going to do a username as what's printed. So just print a little username and kind of do like the staggered glitch and this little 3D model that you guys have of your username. So let's see, I'll look over here. Frank and Tom only have 1 score each. All right, who can name the first Battlefield game?
Battlefield.
No, that was not the first Battlefield game.
No, what the fuck was it? You said it like a million times.
Because it is the game that I played.
Yeah, Battlefield 1942.
1942. That's it.
Point for Frank there. Let's see. I'll throw a couple more at you just to make we got to be fair here. We're nothing if not fair at GGN. After Battlefield 5, what game came next?
Hardline?
No.
Bad Company.
No. Bob, anything after Battlefield 5?
Wait, I'm sorry. Battlefield 5.
Yeah.
Fucked it up.
So this one 20. 24?
Yeah, that's right, Bob. It was this one. After Battlefield 5 came this one. And which one was based on World War One?
Battlefield 1.
Yeah.
Battlefield 1. All right, Frank with 3 points. I'll give it to you, Frank. Frank, would you like your username, Lizard Druid?
Sure.
In this little 3D model? It'll be less embarrassing than someone seeing that you have a Battlefield 2042
It is,
logo,
honestly.
You know? All right. That's kind of all we got this evening. That's Battlefield 2042. Just still a trash fire of a game, but hey guys, I had fun playing with you this evening, riding around in the tank and crashing some airplanes. All right.
It's always a good time.
Forget that. How much? 50 gigs?
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's uninstalled, baby.
Yep, same here.
Yeah.
I've never done that to a GTA game as quick.
I really do hope that they fix it.
All clips in this podcast were used in compliance with the U.S. Copyright Fair Use Exemption for criticism and commentary. Garbage Game Night makes no claims to ownership over any games played and has no affiliation with any developer or publishing company. For additional references on cited articles and quotes, check our episode-related blog at garbagegamennight.com. Or if you have a comment about the game we reviewed or have a suggestion, drop us a line.